Hi friends, this is Marisol and we're going to be reading the Puddle Pail again. And earlier you read it with Cassidy, but this time you're going to be helping me tell the story. So friends, today our message is, have you ever had your own ideas of something that you wanted to do? So friends, sometimes when we want to do something for fun, we create our own ideas. So our friends in the book, the characters, they decided to collect something. And sometimes when we go out and we play, we think of games that we want to do, like tag or hide and seek. So what is something that you wanted to do that was your own idea? Okay friends, so let's look at who's on the cover. Do you remember who these were? The characters were called Sol and Ernst, and there were two crocodile brothers. I remember friends, what was our friend Ernst holding? You can see that he's holding a pail. And do you remember what he was collecting in his pail? He was collecting puddles, and that's why the book is called The Puddle Pail. So friends, the book was written by Eliza Clevin. And now friends, can you tell me what this part of the book is called? This is the front of the book. And what about this part of the book? What is this part of the book called? This is the back of the book. And friends, do you remember what this part of the book was called? It was called the spine. And remember, and it held all the pages together. So friends, now we're going to get started with reading the book. So friends, it said, one bright morning after a storm, Ernst, a young blue crocodile, and his big green brother Sol set out somewhere. And where did they go, friends? Where were they headed? Remember, they were headed to the beach. And do you remember what they wanted to do at the beach? Yeah, Sol said that he was going to fill his pail with seashells. That means he wanted to collect things. And what do we see on the page? What were some things that he wanted to collect? He wanted to collect some rocks and some string and some feathers. And how do we see that Ernst is feeling? It looks like he's a little sad. Why do you think he was sad? Remember, it's because he didn't know what he wanted to collect, like his brother Sol. Wow, what do we see in the sky? Yeah, we see clouds, remember? Ernst watched the clouds make flower shapes and seahorse shapes in the windy sky, remember? He said that he wanted to collect clouds. But what did his brother say? What did Sol say? His brother said, clouds are interesting, but you can't collect clouds. Think of something else you like. Ooh, and what do we see in this picture? We see the stars. Stars, said Ernst, imagining the sky at night. I love to watch the stars. But can you collect stars, friend? No, they're too high up in the sky. I know, said Sol. Starfishes, you could collect starfishes. So do you see all the starfish at the sea? Or what else could he collect? What were these again? Remember, these were star-shaped cookies. And then something caught Ernst's eye. What did Ernst see? What's in this picture? We see the puddles. Oh, and what else did we see on this puddle? It was a bottle cap. And what did Ernst like about these puddles? He liked that they had reflections on them. So we see in this puddle a reflection of the bird and of the bottle cap. And on this one, you see a reflection of an airplane. And what did his brother Sol say? Did he think that he could collect puddles? No, he didn't. He said, you can't collect puddles. But what did he do? He started collecting them anyway. But how did his brother Sol look? I don't think he looked very happy. How do you think he looked? Maybe he was feeling mad, or he was probably feeling annoyed too. And so what do we see that Ernst was collecting? What color was this puddle? It was pink. And what do we see on this puddle? We see the reflection of the fence, so the puddle looked striped. And what do we see on this puddle? We see all the flowers that are being reflected in it. And in this puddle, we see squares. And in this one, what do we see, friends? We see a diamond pattern. And in this picture, it was a puddle full of gumballs from the gumball machine. And what did this one have? It had brooms. And this one had a mixture of patterns. Oh, and look, there's a bicycle tire and then a pretzel puddle. So it seemed like he was collecting a lot of different puddles. And how did he look in this picture? He looked very happy. And then his brother Sol came back and talked about everything that he found. So what did he find up here? What were these? They were seashells, and he also found some feathers. And what about those? He found some pebbles. And what were these? Those were seaweed, and he also found a marble, half a nutshell, and a dinosaur that was missing a head. And look, what were they looking at here? Whose collection were they looking at? Remember, they were looking at Ernst's collection. And how did Sol look? He probably looked confused. Remember, he said, "That looks just like an ordinary puddle." Remember, because all the puddles mixed together, so they didn't have the same pattern. All we see now is a reflection of Ernst and Sol. And so what did they do with their collections? Where were they going to? Remember, friends, they were going to go back home. And Sol was saying, "What are you going to do with all those puddles?" He said, "You can probably help me wash my new collection." And Ernst said, "I'll probably think of something else." And so what do we see that Ernst was doing in this picture? What was he looking at? He was looking at the puddle in his pail. And what colors do we see? We see some orange and blue. And remember, friends, it's because it was reflecting the sky. It was reflecting the sun down. And then what do we see in the reflection of this puddle? It was the night sky, friends. And what do we see in it? We can see some stars and the moon. It's almost like as if he really did collect stars. And then early the next morning, who do we see drinking out of the pail? It was a little dog. He was drinking Ernst's puddles. And what did he do with the rest of the water? What was he making? He was making watercolor paints. And who did he paint? He painted the dog, and he painted some clouds, and he painted the puddles that he saw yesterday along with the sky. And what did Ernst come by with later? What did he bring with him? What are these? Those are acorns. And what are these? Those are flowers. And what else did he have? What are these down here? These are leaves. And so what did Ernst show Sol? What was his collection of? Remember, friends, he had a collection of paintings with the water that he used from his pail. And how did they look, friends? Did they look angry or annoyed? No, they looked impressed. They looked happy. His brother was pretty impressed with all the paintings that he made. And then where did they decide to go after? Do you remember what they wanted to pick? What kind of berries they wanted to pick? They wanted to pick blackberries, friend. So they both grabbed their pails and walked down there. And Sol said, I'm going to collect blackberries now. And what did Ernst say that he was going to start collecting? He said that he was going to start collecting shadows. And what shape is the shadow of? It's the shadow of this butterfly. And Sol said, you can't collect shadows. Yes, I can too collect shadows. And he collected the shadow of the butterfly. And then the butterfly fluttered off. And what were they eating here? They were eating blackberries. And that was it, friends. And now you're going to watch more videos about Let's Find Out About It, where we learn about rainbows and we can do other activities. Okay, friend. Bye. Thank you for reading with me.